In this video, I'm going to take you through a quick demonstration of how to cut a digital story, also known as a package. So at this point, I'm going to assume that you've already gone out and shot a couple of interviews and you've shot B-roll of your story to get you started. And all that material is now imported into the package, or into the editor, I'm sorry. In this particular case, we've got B-roll of students shooting video and editing video with their cameras, and we've got an interview with the instructor right here, and we've got an interview with a student right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these interviews and I'm going to pull out my best sound bites from those interviews that really summarize the feeling and the impact of the story, and I'm going to move those down into my timeline. So I'll take a moment through the magic of editing and go ahead and listen to my interviews and pull out my best sound bites. All right, so through the magic of editing, I've got 3 sound bites selected here, 2 from the teacher, 1 from the student. Let's give them a quick listen. I get so excited to watch them work because when they get to do a story that excites them, that drives them, that motivates them, it makes them want to go on and find the next awesome story. When they get to cover topics that they're interested in, they'll be more motivated to go do that package.
Because editing sometimes takes time and you don't really know how to use the software properly at first, but then afterwards you're like, okay, this is okay, I can do this.
So there are my 3 sound bites, 2 from the teacher and 1 from the student. And now my next step in the process, once I've selected them, is I need to come over and type out every word they say word for word. So in this document, I've got my SOT from Roush. I get so excited to watch them work when they get to cover topics they're interested. And from Suli Alonso, who says, because editing sometimes takes time and you don't really know how to use the software. So I've now transcribed my sound bites. The next part of what I need to do is I need to create what I'm going to say in the story as the storyteller, as the reporter. That's also known as the reporter voice track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the information I know about the story, the who, the what, the where, the why, the when, and the how, and I'm going to create a story. I'm going to write a script between these bites, and I might even change the order of the bites a little bit in order to get things where I want them to be. So through the magic of editing, you see I now have my voice track script here. It starts off with students in the media program are wrapping up the year, becoming digital storytellers. The final freshman project involves them using what they've learned all year long to create a news package. Then we jump to the soundbite from Roush about getting excited to watch them work. Then the voice track comes back with Roush says he allows the students to explore the topics they want as long as it's something they feel other students at Truman might be interested to see. Then we come to another soundbite about covering topics they're interested. Now we have another voice track that gives us more of the who, the what, the where, the why, the when, and the how of the story, the meat and potatoes, as we say, of the story. Okay, so we got some information. 3 types of cameras. They bring that material to edit. One student says editing in the field is easy. It's the computer portion that is the most challenging. And then we go to her soundbite about why editing is hard. Finally, we wrap up the package with what's next. We always ask ourselves, where does the story go from here after today? And that's a great way to figure out what your closing sentence or phrase is going to be. So here I wrote, after the freshman story project, students will continue to do packages for the rest of their years in media. And I end with a tag out, reporting from the TV studio, I'm Dave Roush. Now, I've got my script prepared. The next step is for me to get out the voice tracking device or my cell phone's voice audio recording app, and I record all of these tracks that I have in caps. Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording through the magic of editing, and I'm going to go and record my voice tracks right now. So I've got my voice tracks now recorded. They're on this track here that says voice track sample package. I did this on my phone, and then I airdropped it into the Mac, into my working folder. And I'm just going to take this audio file and bring it into Premiere Pro. This is my voice track. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this voice track up and I'm going to put it into my timeline where it belongs in order with the script. And my script is right here. Okay, so let's open this up. And I always count 3, 2, 1 so I know where to mark in.
3, 2, 1.
Mark in.
Students in the Truman Media Program are wrapping up the package of their own.
Mark out. And I'm going to bring this down in front of my first track. I'm going to hold down the command button to push everything forward. So see how the icon changes? I hold command, it'll push everything down the timeline. So I go from this
Involves
track.
them using what they've learned all year long to create a news package of their own.
I get so excited to watch them work because when they get to do a story that excites them, Okay, and that follows right along with my script. Package all their own. I get so excited. My next track, Roush says he allows the students. So we'll come back here.
3, 2, 1. Roush says that he allows the students to explore whatever topics they want might be interested to see.
Okay, I'm going to take this track, grabbing the audio only, dropping it after my next byte. So I've got sound bite and then more voice track.
and find. Says that he allows the students to explore whatever topics they want as long as it's something they feel other students at Truman might be interested to see.
When they get to cover topics that they're interested in, they'll be more motivated to go do that package.
Because
Next track,
editing sometimes takes time and you don't really know how to use
so the next
software
track is the class
properly.
uses mainly 3 types of cameras. So here we go.
3, 2, 1. The class uses mainly challenging for her.
Challenging for her. Drop that down, put it between these two, again using the command button. And
For her.
Because editing sometimes takes time and you don't really know how to use the software.
okay, and then my final track, if I follow along with my script, my final track is after the freshman story project, and that's right here.
3, 2, 1. After the freshman story project, students. Studio. I'm Dave Roush.
Mark out, bring that down, and now I have what we call the skeleton. This is the skeleton of my story. Voice track, soundbite, voice track, soundbite, voice track, soundbite, voice track. And yours may be in a little slightly different order, but that's generally what a skeleton looks like. Now I need to take my B-roll and cover what I say in the voice track with the B-roll. Now I want to maintain the background sound. So to do that, I'm going to lock up audio track 1. And that way when I bring my video, my B-roll down, the audio will go on to track 2 by default. So let's start off and listen to what I say and try to find B-roll to cover it.
Students in the Truman Media Program are wrapping up the year becoming digital storytellers.
So this is pretty generic. So I can try and find some wide shots to, I don't want to show them editing yet. Let's see what I've got here. That's too much of a close-up to open the story with. I want to find something nice and wide here. This looks like it might be a good place to start. I want to take each shot for about 2 to 3 seconds. Drop it in.
Students in the Truman Media Program are wrapping up the year.
Okay, and I like to edit on phrases, so they're wrapping up the year and then go to a new phrase. So let me grab maybe this shot right here, which is a reverse shot of the first one. Bring that in.
Wrapping up the year becoming digital storytellers. The final freshman project involved.
Another angle of that.
Interview you about
Okay.
The freshman project involves them using what they've learned all year long to create a news pack.
And where's that nice shot of that close-up of the lens? We'll take this guy. Now, this is going to overlap my interview soundbite just a little bit. That's not a huge deal. Just don't cover the first soundbite very long because we don't want to have a headless voice in the story. We want to know who's speaking to us. So when I drop this in, you see it's going to overlap the soundbite slightly. This is what it's going to look
Along to create a news package of their own.
I get so excited to watch them work because when they get to do a story that excites them, that drives them, that motivates them, it makes them want to go on and find the next awesome story.
Roush says that he allows the students to explore whatever topics they want as long as it's something they feel other students at Truman might be interested to see.
Okay, so this is pretty generic as well, so I can grab any kind of shots I want. This is a nice little pan shot that we took. So we'll take that shot. Make sure if you're using a pan, you take it all the way through the entire motion. Don't cut on a move.
Next awesome story.
Roush says that he allows the students to explore whatever topics they want.
Take this nice locator video. Lets us know where we are. Pull this down like so.
As long as it's something they feel other students at Truman might be interested to see.
And since we've now moved to the production studio, we can come into an editing shot now since we've made that transition visual. And we'll pull that in.
Might be interested to see.
When they get to cover topics that they're interested in, they'll be more motivated to go do that package.
The class uses
Extend that bite just a little bit.
To go do that package.
The class uses mainly 3 types of cameras plus their cell phones to shoot the projects. Then they bring that material to the editing.
Okay, let's try and find another shot with a camera. because we talk about them using 3 different types of cameras. So I might need to recycle a shot. I don't like to recycle shots if I don't have to. But let's take another piece here.
The class uses mainly 3 types of cameras plus their cell phones to shoot the projects.
Let's extend that out to finish that phrase.
The class uses mainly 3 types of cameras plus their cell phones to shoot the projects.
Okay, and it says they then.
Cell phones to shoot the projects. Then they bring that material to the editing lab to put it all together.
So let's get a shot of the editing lab again. And I have a shot right here, looking over the folders. Okay, 3-4 seconds. Take it out, bring it down.
Cell phones to shoot the projects. Then they bring.
Oh, got a flash frame in there. Let's fix that.
Shoot the projects. Then they bring that material to the editing lab to put it all together.
Okay, we're gonna grab another shot. I'm a little light on B-roll for this story. I probably could have shot a little bit more, but we're gonna have to make do with what we have.
The editing lab to put it all together. One media student says shooting in the field is easy.
Okay, and then I want the close-up of her, the medium shot of her editing. Bring it down. Fill it in.
In the field is easy. It's the computer portion that is most challenging for her.
Because editing sometimes takes. This is okay. I can do this.
And then we talk about
After the fresh.
So grab a couple more shots of them editing. I like this close-up of her hands on the keys.
You have put cooking class for basic this part.
Drop that in.
After the freshman story project, students will continue to do packages for the rest of their years in media.
Okay, and probably going to have to recycle a shot. We use that one, we use that one, we use that one. Let's go back to this guy right here. Take this shot for a little bit. Color balance is a little off. We can work on that.
To do packages for the rest of their years in media. Reporting from the TV studio, I'm Dave Roush.
I'm just going to extend that shot out to finish the package. Okay. Now, the only other thing I want to do is I want to balance the audio, because you'll notice the voice track
They've learned all year long
is hitting up here near -6 decibels,
to create a news package.
but my sound bites are low.
That excites them.
So I'm going to gain those up using the audio gain, but I have to unlock the track, and then I can go ahead and use the audio gain. To get these up there, let's add about 8 decibels again.
That drives them, that motivates them. It makes them want to go on.
That looks good to me. We'll take this one, we'll gain it up 8 as well. So audio gain, 8 decibels.
They get to cover topics that they're interested in.
And we're gonna take Suli up about 12 decibels because she's even quieter than me.
I don't really know how to use the software.
So now the transitions from voice track to audio to soundbite should be
That is most challenging for her.
Because editing sometimes takes time and you don't really know how to use the software.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to throw in some lower thirds. I'm going to come up here to my graphics editing tool. You can do plain text if you want to. There's also a couple prefabricated lower thirds you can use. We'll go to the local templates folder. We'll see what we can find. Maybe. Oh, there we go. I'm going to just type in thirds so to find me all of the lower thirds. And I like this guy right here. It's pretty simple. We'll drop one on Roush. You don't have to put a lower third on the same speaker twice. You can if you want to. But once you've identified them once, you don't have to do it again. So I'm going to click here. Actually, you know what? I don't like this at all. I don't like it at all because it's tough to read with that kind of a backdrop. So let's see if we can find another lower third because we're losing the text on the white floor. So let's get rid of this one. Okay, and this is why you got to think like a producer. You don't always pick the right one the first time. So let's find something maybe that has a little bit of a backdrop to it. This looks pretty good right here. It's got a little blue bar behind it. And we'll drop that in. And this is telling me that I need fonts that are not available. So we'll try to get them downloaded. And let's go in and put a name in here. Name and title. Okay. And we'll do the same thing. I'm going to copy and we'll paste the same one over top of Sully. Oops, no, let's put it down here and get up on the other track. Same thing here. Media student. Okay, so my audio is balanced. I can get back to the editing workflow. My audio is balanced. I've got lower thirds on the screen.
Because
As a matter of fact, I'm going to make these a little larger. Let me go to my effect controls. Let's scale this up to about, let's scale this to like 150 and let's move it around here. And there we go. I like that a little bit better. A little bit easier to read. And we'll do the same thing with Sully. We'll take her to 150 and then we'll move it up and move it over. And you really should watch these numbers to make them match from one lower third to the other. Those are pretty close. But just try to make sure they match each other. So I've got audio balanced. I've got lower thirds identified. I can even do one more lower third if I wanted to just identify the story. So here I'm going to put, here I'm going to go in and put, no, I don't want to do it over my name. Actually, we're going to leave it alone. We're not going to do it. So that's just about there. We're just about done. Let's take a look and see what this package looks like start to finish. And I'm going to go ahead and put a default transition in on the front and back to fade the story in.
Students in the Truman Media Program are wrapping up the year becoming digital storytellers. The final freshman project involves them using what they've learned all year long to create a news package of their own.
I get so excited to watch them work because when they get to do a story that excites them, that drives them, that motivates them, it makes them want to go on and find the next awesome story.
Roush says that he allows the students to explore whatever topics they want as long as it's something they feel other students at Truman might be interested to see.
When they get to cover topics that they're interested in, they'll be more motivated to go do that package.
The class uses mainly 3 types of cameras plus their cell phones to shoot the projects. Then they bring that material to the editing lab to put it all together. One media student says shooting in the field is easy. It's the computer portion that is most challenging for her.
Because editing sometimes takes time and you don't really know how to use the software properly at first. But then afterwards, you're like, okay, this is okay. I could do this.
After the freshman story project, students will continue to do packages for the rest of their years in media. Reporting from the TV studio, I'm Dave Roush.
And we fade out. And there you have it. That's a minute 10. I told you about minute to a minute 15, minute 30 at the most. And that's a very simple, straightforward digital package. Now, all you got to do from here is export it, which you guys know how to do. File, export media. And in the window that opens, you're going to make sure the parameters are correct and put it into the proper folder. H.264 will do medium bitrate to keep the file size small. We're going to click this output name right here. Make sure that it goes into the media share folder and whatever appropriate period number and project name. In this particular case, I'm going to put it in period 6 sophomore digital stories. And I'm going to call this Roush Digital Story Sample. All right, I'm going to save there and hit export here. And that will complete the project. If you have any questions on this, come see me. Or you can, of course, rewind or rewatch the video. But make sure you do this in the right steps. First, you're going to watch your interviews, select your sound bites, write down what's in the sound bites, write me the rest of the story in your own words for your voice track, record your voice track, put your voice track into the timeline with your sound bites to create that skeleton, and then overlay your voice track with relevant B-roll that illustrates what you're talking about in the voice track.